He was beaten, put in solitary confinement, and he watched as his brother died. But Hamid Ghasemi Shal says the 5.5 years he spent in an Iranian prison didn't break him. The Iranian Canadian was finally set free after a tireless campaign by his wife in Toronto. And when he landed in Canada just last week, we were there for his first TV interview and his first taste of freedom. The last 5 years for Antonella Mega may have been the most trying.
Yeah, no luggage. Thank you. We're picking up.
But this will be the longest car ride of her life.
Last night, I was tracking the airplane from Tehran, and it was really exciting to see it move along the map, and I was just there with him. You know, I felt like I was sitting next to him.
Her husband, Hamid Ghasemi Shal, is finally on his way home after 5 years in an Iranian jail, sitting on death row.
We're getting closer.
It is a moment she's played out in her mind every day.
Is there any concern on your part that the man who will arrive at the airport today won't be the same man who you saw leave 5 years ago?
Yes, yes, because I'm not the same person that I was 5 years ago. I know that he will have, reacted, or he will have dealt with his imprisonment differently, obviously.
You may, on some level, have to get to know him all over again.
Yes, yeah, I'm aware, and I can't say I'm prepared.
Is that scary?
Yes, yes, it is.
It was at this airport in May of 2008 that Hamid left for Iran, flying to see his elderly and ailing mother. But only days after arriving in Tehran, his brother Alborz was arrested, his mother's house ransacked, and Hamid's Canadian and Iranian passports taken. When Hamid went to get them back, he too was arrested and accused of espionage. Antonella, at the time, was completely shut out.
We all went into a black hole. I didn't hear from him for 19 months. I didn't know where he was being held. I didn't know if he was alive.
Her husband's incarceration marked the start of her campaign to free him, and she would stop at nothing.
My job is to protect Hamid and to help him to come home safely. I will continue to do that by speaking to the media, by speaking to political figures who are willing to help, by speaking to human rights organizations, and I will just continue to be Hamid's voice.
Today, after fighting for so long,
oh, sweet. You started already.
signs of the toll it has taken.
Come here. Hug me. Hug me tight.
With his plane on the ground come the words she has been waiting for.
He's here.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring him down.
Okay.
He's here. He's home.
Okay.
He's already home.
We've got him.
Antonella is escorted into a private room for their first meeting. Outside, the crowd of supporters is on edge. It would be another hour before the arrival doors opened, and Hamid Ghasemi Shal, his arm around his wife, emerged.
Okay, there they are. Give me a piece.
I don't want to
Okay. Okay, he wants to go.
The car Hamid will ride home in is larger than his jail cell. Adjusting to life outside may take time.
I'm just glad I'm back home. The air is different here.
And while much has changed,
Yeah, you're right. Look at that. During these 5 years they built it?
it's familiarity that is so comforting.
Our house. Our house.
And once at home, we sit down with Hamid Ghasemi Shal for his first in-depth interview to find out what happened all those years inside the prison walls.
Next, Hamid talks for the first time about surviving an Iranian prison.
How long were you on death row?
Since March 2009.
For 5.5 years, he languished inside an Iranian prison. Hamid Ghasemi Shal, accused of being a spy, connected to opposition groups, and put on death row. Now, back home in Toronto and reunited with his wife, he speaks at length for the first time about what happened.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be back in Canada?
Feels great. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels completely different than where I was before. The air, people, to be with her. It's been a long trip and a long journey for all of us. But finally it's over.
Right, we can start again.
Yeah, where we left.
Do you know what she's been up to?
No, actually, I have some idea.
Could I tell you what she's been up to while you've been gone? She's written The President of Iran. She's called Foreign Affairs Canada. She started campaigns with Amnesty International. She contacted journalists around the world. She put signs on her front lawn, and she yelled from the highest mountain, "Free my husband." That is love.
I know. It's, you know, you don't find too many people to do that. A lot of people, their wife, they left them. I don't know what to say.
How long were you on death row?
Since March 2009,
Until last Sunday?
until last Sunday.
What is that like, knowing that your death could happen at any time?
You're always thinking about it. You know, you can't get it out of your mind. You see a nightmare at night. You can't eat properly. You can't rest properly. And sometimes when they call you, you don't know where you're going to end up.
So you never knew
You never.
when your time would come?
No,
Every time they called your name, you thought this could be it.
That's right.
The majority of Hamid's sentence was served in the notorious Evin prison in Section 350, where political prisoners are held.
What was it like in that jail?
They insult you, they abuse you, they beat you.
Were you beaten?
Yes.
How many times?
Well, I don't remember. I was 7, 8 months. I was being interrogated. They insult you verbally. They abuse you, your family, your sister, your mom, your dad, your wife.
How long were you in solitary?
1.5 years. To be exact, 555 days.
You counted every day.
Every day. You know, when they keep you there for 7 months and then they take you to the outside world, you don't know where you are. When someone says something to you, you don't remember a minute later. How could you defend yourself?
We've heard that Evin Prison is a place they send prisoners to break them.
It is true. In that part, even during the interrogation, they try to break you. And how strong you are, or you can be, to not to break.
Did they break you?
No. They couldn't. They try really hard.
I'm going to ask you a very simple question, but people will want to hear the answer. Were you spying?
No. There was no evidence whatsoever.
The evidence Iranian authorities kept pointing to was an alleged email they said Hamid had sent his brother Alborz, conspiring against the government. An email with addresses that Antonella told us don't exist, and a signature that was spelled wrong.
It was fabricated. They knew it.
Had your brother done something wrong?
No.
Or was...
Look, my brother, he served the country for 29 years. Not by words, in action.
In the Navy?
He was a commander. 3,000 personnel was under his command.
But was he politically involved at all?
Why then were Hamid and his brother arrested? He still doesn't know for certain.
The interrogator told me that we are looking for people like you, that they have dual citizenship, especially from Canada and States.
Why?
To use you guys for our purposes. Like, we take you as a hostage and we ask for ransom. Now, what that ransom is, who knows?
But Hamid's brother Alborz would not survive the imprisonment. His death would be a long, slow one that authorities blamed on cancer.
I'm not a doctor. I would say he had cancer. It could happen to anybody. But what was preceding the cancer, that's important. The Army intelligence, they're responsible for my brother's death.
There are some reports that your brother suffered massive head trauma.
Yes.
From beatings?
Yes. A doctor in the coroner office said it, that in his skull there was a dent the size of the palm.
The turning point came on September 22nd of this year.
They called me and they said, tomorrow you go into the front of the judge and he gave you 5 years. He cannot exonerate you, although we know you're innocent. Yeah, that's right.
Meaning you had done nothing wrong?
Absolutely.
Because Hamid had already served 5 years, his sentence was considered filled. He was a free man. 80 other political prisoners were freed that week. The same week, Iran's new president addressed the United Nations in New York. Their release seen as a softening of relations between Iran and the West.
How are you physically?
Well, actually, it's a good question. Someone else, they asked me the same question. I said, I don't know. I'm on my feet. I don't feel sick or anything, but I don't know what's going on inside because I'm not the expert. I can't tell.
Are you angry?
Yes, I am angry because they took the life of my brother. They took 5 years of my life, my family, my wife. Yeah, I am angry. But I never came down to my knees.
As for what's next, Hamid isn't certain. He may write a book, he says. He'll definitely spend time reflecting and enjoying being back home.
I always tell my friends when I was in jail, I said, if you want to find a country to really live in a peace, go to Canada. You will see.